The Powkiddy V90, I cannot put this down. For the past few weeks I've been playing this and it's awesome, especially with the mods that I showed you in my last video. So today I thought I'd show you some tips and tricks to make using this a lot easier for you, and there might be some things hidden on here that you might not know about. Check this out if you haven't yet. So here's tip number 1. I thought Mega Man 2 would be a good game to show you this. If you want to change the screen brightness or the volume, you can use shortcut keys here. If you have the system modded and you want to change the brightness, just hold down on the menu button and hit left or right on the D-pad and that'll change your brightness. If you don't have it modded, just hold the select button and hit one of the bumpers to change your brightness. You can use the volume dial on the side like this, but if you want to use a shortcut key, just hold down the menu button and hit up or down on the pad to change the volume. If you don't have it modded, just hold the select button and hit up or down on the D-pad to change the volume. Before we move on to the next tip, if you're a retro gamer like me, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. I love retro gaming and I love sharing it with you. So hit the subscribe button and let's move on to the next tip. Usually when you want to shut the system off, you have to go back to the main menu, tab over to the settings tab, go over to power, shut off the software, and then physically shut it off. But if you want to just do it as a shortcut, it doesn't matter if you're in a game or where you are, just hold the start button and power off and then shut it off physically. You're good to go. If you don't have this modded, just hold the menu button to get the power option. The next tip is if you're on the move and you want to save some battery when you put this in your pocket, just get back out to the main menu and use the same button to suspend it. And it'll power off. You can shut this down, put it in your pocket, and then when you're ready to play again, just hit the button again and you're good to go. Also, in the settings menu, you can tell it how many seconds you want it to suspend on its own, and also once it's in suspense mode, how many seconds you want it to be in suspense mode before it actually shuts off completely. Here's some extra tips for those of you who are not familiar with emulators. You can play the game and save it as you normally would, but if you want to save the game at very specific points in the game, you can go to the menu and save your state exactly where you are and it'll remember. And you can also use different slots to save different points of the game. So as an example, I'll just load up my slot 2 state and see where I am in the game. So you can see this is a hard part here. So as an example, if you go to run in the game and you die, you can just load it up again and be right back where you were in the game. The next tip is if you don't like this square aspect and it's not filling the screen, you can go into your menu and go to settings and video setup, and you can change the video scaling to something else. I found that FS Smooth worked best for me. And you can see that it filled the whole screen for me. If you notice that some games are a bit laggy for you, you can mess around in the menu with Frameskip. So you can have it on auto and just try different numbers and you can improve how the game performs. You can also hit select on a game emulator and edit it, and you can mess around with your CPU clock as well. Some emulators let you change the CPU while you're in the emulator itself. If you haven't yet, pick yourself up one of these and check out my last video on how to mod these and make them way better. Thanks for tuning in.